welcome to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him at GodsFiveMinutes@gmail.com. Now, here's Ed Wilson with God's 5 Minutes.
Hello, friends. The 6th chapter of Daniel tells the old familiar Sunday school story of Daniel in the lion's den. He got put there as a crude death sentence for the terrible crime of praying to God rather than the Medo-Persian king Darius, which his enemies had contrived to make into a sort of treason. So he spent a night among the wild animals with a stone blocking the only exit to their den, and with the earliest rays of the dawning day, the king, who had come to regret allowing himself to be maneuvered into this ridiculous form of murder, visited the cave. Here are the verses. When Darius came to the cave, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God, whom thou servest continually, able to deliver thee from the lions? Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. My God has sent his angel, and has shut the lions' mouths, that they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. The government that sentenced Daniel to death was unjust. Well, many governments are. But there are also unholy ways to respond to unwise or just plain wrong laws and edicts. In our age of so much protest and controversy, there is a tremendous benefit to Christians to be found in studying the examples of our godly forebears, which can provide understanding of how we should behave under these circumstances. The king couldn't see Daniel, and he felt a sickening doubt whether any sound but a savage snarl would answer him. He must have heaved a sigh of relief at the calm accents which came up to him from the unseen depth. And what dignity, respect, faith, and innocence are in them. Even with one hand on the lion's head, Daniel remembered the respectful salutation with which kings in that day were to be addressed. That night could have made a sullen rebel out of Daniel, and many another would have been feeling really angry with Darius. But this man of God had learned faithfulness in a good school, and no trace of returning evil for evil was in his words or tones. The formal greeting was much more than a form. When it came up from among the lions, it gently heaped coals of fire on the king's head and proved to him, if he heeded the lesson, that Daniel's disobedience had not been disloyalty. The more following holy commandments compels us to disregard the authority and practices of others, the more scrupulously attentive should we be to demonstrate that we cherish all due regard to them and wish them well. Using just the simplest language, almost as if he saw nothing particularly amazing about it, Daniel told the facts about his night. My God has sent his angel and has shut the lions' mouths. Before Daniel went into the king, the king had told him, thy God will deliver thee, as if Darius felt he somehow knew more about Daniel's God than the man himself. Daniel didn't say that. But he went without having to be hurled down among the beasts anyway, knowing God was able and leaving himself in God's care. So it was no surprise to him that he was saved. Thankfulness, but not astonishment, filled his heart. What Daniel did not say, as Darius did, that he served God continually. Instead, he took this opportunity to offer his safe lion night as evidence before the king that he was not a disloyal subject. He had committed no treason. The reason I am safe is because God looked over my whole service to the government in this foreign land and found me innocent. And the truth is, King, I am innocent of any injury to you either. And there is the example for civil disobedience. We Christians must obey God first, but we are also to honor and obey those whom God has allowed to be in authority over us and quietly try to cooperate with them. Have you talked to God today?
You have been listening to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him by email at GodsFiveMinutes@gmail.com. Tune in next time to hear more encouraging thoughts from God's Word on God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson.